things turned around were easy. To believe. I mean, that's what this whole business is about, to get them to get some faith in things and believe in something. You know, we all have different ideas of how to get there. It's all about getting people to believe and buy in. If we want to go well, that's probably the most important factor, is they believe in coach. You know, what coach is saying works. That stuff's what it's all about. And if you don't have that, you can't win.
We have set a standard of excellence. You hope that you don't raise the bar out of sight to where then all of a sudden you're not able to maintain or achieve the levels that people are starting to expect.
Usually Birds goes south with a winner, but not in Central Illinois. This is where the Birds play in one of the great arenas in all of college basketball, Redbird Arena, home of the back-to-back champions of the Valley, the Redbirds of Illinois State, who today host the Shockers of Wichita State. And a good Missouri Valley Conference weekend, everyone. I'm Mitch Holtis. In the great 92 years of the Missouri Valley Conference history, only one team has won back-to-back regular season and postseason tournament titles. That is the Illinois State Redbirds. Debbie Antonelli, that means everybody else in the league is bird hunting, something that Wichita State's doing today.
Mitch, there's no question Illinois State lost a lot off of last year's team, all in the offensive end of the floor and the defensive with Dan Muller. Their perimeter is learning to grow up fast, and the benchmark has been set in this conference by Illinois State. Wichita State will find out where they measure on the bar.
Okay, let's go right to the keys to the game.
Wichita State. They've got to play pressure without fouling. Illinois State is great at getting to the line, and they make them 76% of the time while they're there. On the other hand, Wichita State has to get to the line also. When they win, they go to the line, and when they lose, they don't get there very often. And the big question mark, Perez, Evans, and who else is going to help score points for Wichita State? Now, the keys for Illinois State, spacing. If you know anything about Kevin Stallings' system, it's about balance, it's about high-low, and trying to isolate Watkins down low, and they've got to take care of the basketball.
Wichita State's best weapon is one of the biggest scorers in the country. In fact, he's 8th in the nation. That's sophomore Maurice Evans, averaged nearly 24 points a game.
Well, Mitch, there's no question he can score. The guy is offense all over the floor. He shoots the tray. He can create off the dribble. And Wichita State is very perimeter-oriented in their offense right now. But if you like to watch the power game, you're going to love watching Leroy Watkins go to work for Illinois State. He takes up space on the box, and no one in the Valley can match his combination of experience, size, and strength.
Watkins' perimeter help comes from this player, a first-year sophomore, Tyrese Bryson, who averages nearly 20 points a game and was the MVP of the recent Hawaii Pacific Thanksgiving tournament. The lineups are next. To Redbird Arena, home of the Illinois State Redbirds. The Birds 6-3 so far this year, while the Shockers are 2-4. Wichita State has played an extremely difficult schedule, while 2 of Illinois State's losses are to Big Ten teams. Here's Randy Smithson. He's led Wichita State to back-to-back winning seasons for the first time since the late 80s. He actually played here at Illinois State for a while before his dad moved to the job at Wichita State when he transferred to WSU and has restored pride in the Shocker program. Take a look at our lineups now, brought to you by Bud Light. We mentioned Maurice Evans. The other big scorer for Wichita State is Jason Perez. He averages 17 points a game. They need the other guys, though, to step up, notably Darren Williams. For Illinois State, a young lineup, but a transfer from Missouri, L.D. Murdoch is key, and also the lead guard, Victor Williams, who was the co-player of the year in Kansas City with Jerron Rush of UCLA. Illinois State is headed by 6-year head coach Kevin Stallings. What a pedigree he has. He's the 3rd winningest coach in Missouri Valley Conference history. Was an assistant to Roy Williams at Kansas. Prior to that, with Gene Cady at Purdue, played for Cady at Purdue. Is 10-1 against Wichita State. And Debbie Antonelli, what Kevin Stallings has done is really establish Illinois State right now as the program that everybody's shooting at in the league.
Well, I don't think there's any question about it. 4 of the last 5 seasons, all 5 of his have been 20-win seasons, the last 4. That's very impressive when you can win at that caliber and continue to win. That people are chasing you and they're hunting you and you still find a way to get your guys prepared to play.
Good point, particularly with 13 scholarships in Division I basketball. We see all kinds of upsets every night, it seems, in Division I basketball. The series record, led by Illinois State, have actually doubled it up on WSU. But here's the key one. Illinois State, 10-game winning streak. They won 10 of the last 11. And here in Normal, it's a 14-4 Illinois State advantage for the Shockers. We talked with Randy Smith, and he is just still developing a young club. His expectations not really too high here early in the season and early in December.
Well, with a 2-4 record, we talked to him about, is he surprised? And he said, no, not really. We won the 2 at home we were supposed to. Our road test has been tough. Going over to Hawaii and playing over there was tough for them. But, you know, they're a team that's got to figure out how to come together. They've got great perimeter scoring. They need somebody down low that's going to be able to match up with that guy right there, Leroy Watkins. Watkins received an extra year of eligibility. And there's Darren Williams, maybe the key to Wichita State's season. Jason Perez and Maurice Evans actually account for 65% of the Wichita State offense right now. You mentioned on the keys, somebody else has to step up. There's your leading candidate. As Maurice Evans will actually jump the center tap for Wichita State against Leroy Watkins. Both of these teams went to Hawaii. Wichita State losing to the University of Hawaii and to Rutgers, while Illinois State won the Hawaii Pacific Thanksgiving Tournament, beating in succession Missouri, Kansas City, Southern Mississippi, and Iona. And Illinois State opens man-to-man. On Evans is Tyrone Brown, who's actually from Wichita, played JUCO basketball in Kansas, and Darren Williams has Wichita State's first points. Darren Williams, if he catches it that deep, it's going to be tough to defend, but he was doing a great job of calling for the basketball, and Perez recognized it. Shockers look like they're going to open in a zone here. Look, just a 1-1-3. Let's see if they follow the cutters through. L.D. Murdoch, who's also a Kansan from Columbus, Kansas, for his contact. And Bart Veskies, a freshman from the Netherlands, is fouling for Wichita State. Wichita State looking at a couple of Kansans on this Illinois State starting lineup. Actually, 3. Victor Williams from Kansas City, Tyrone Brown from Wichita, and L.D. Murdoch from Columbus. Randy Smithson, this is Murdoch, actually began his career at the University of Missouri. Well, he started the last game against Purdue, and I guess Kevin Stallings likes him in the lineup instead of coming off the bench, and would rather bring Riley off the bench to play that high post area. Now, something to really watch for Illinois State is their high-low game. Watkins down low on the box, and Murdoch and Riley operating around the top of the key. Murdoch is a 68% shooter, missing his first free throw, and then Leroy Watkins called for a lane violation on the second. So Wichita State has the ball, and with a 2-point advantage early here in Normal, Illinois. Lemons. Perez missing his first attempt, and Veskies gets tied up with Victor Williams. You know, all practice last night, Randy Smithson kept talking to his guys about getting aggressive, getting on the glass, going for the loose ball. You can see right there how much hustle Veskies came to try to tie that thing up. Perez comes off the down screen, gets a good look. It doesn't fall. But look at the hustle and the effort right there by Veskies to tie it up. Smithson's got to be pleased with the effort in the first couple possessions at the offensive end because they got good looks. Wichita State spreading the floor in kind of a matchup type zone look almost as Brown penetrates against Perez. And Jason Perez is going to be called for a holding foul. You know, that's that hand checking rule, Mitch. I mean, it's being called very tightly all across the country, and it's definitely an emphasis. Got to keep your hands off the dribbler. Team foul 2 against the Shockers, out of bounds, Redbird. Williams, this is Brown, who again grew up in Wichita, went to Northwest High School. Forces one, but finds Watkins, who gets it to roll in. Leroy Watkins, who had 25 against Alcorn State, and really fought foul trouble against Wisconsin, which hurt Illinois State in that loss to the Badgers. Well, in the Wisconsin game and the Purdue game, he picked up 3 fouls in each of those first halves. Game tied at 2. We have yet to play 2 minutes. Evans matched up against Brown as the two Wichitans collide. Veskies from 3-point range. Well, that's a bonus right there for Wichita State for him to be able to step out and knock down that shot.
His first 3 as a Division I athlete. And the Shockers lead by 3. Williams trying to get it done by himself, and Illinois State will keep possession. It's off Bart Veskis. But what about Bart Veskis here on the shot?
Just working without the basketball. Here's Leroy Watkins getting the feed from Brown. Actually, I think it was a tipped basketball that came out, but then the 3 by Veskis, knocking it down deep, the lefty.
Murdoch will bank it in just inside the arc. Not exactly probably. Murdoch can shoot it. He can step out and knock him down.
He can shoot the tray. Murdoch and Riley combined, shooting 6 for 15 from beyond the arc.
Reaching foul. This will go against Victor Williams. And that's the first Illinois State. Well, Victor Williams has given Kevin Stallings some good and some bad here early in his freshman season.
Well, the last offensive possession, he takes the quick shot, and Kevin Stallings wants him to run the offense, and down here he gets a silly reaching foul. Freshman mistakes. You got to kind of learn on the job.
He had 7 steals in one game and 7 turnovers in the same game.
Well, that just drive a coach crazy. Turning the ball over.
Second moving screen is going to be called here on Wichita State. And you can see Randy Smithson's response to the call. Darren Williams is called for the foul. Third team foul on Wichita State.
You know, and here comes the other guy, Mitch, that we talked about last night at practice, Troy Mack. You know, we talk about Darren Williams being important, and then there's a little scuffle off the basketball between Lemons and and that's not Victor Williams, that's Brown over there. Between Bryson and Lemons.
Warning has been given, and Randy Smithson upset. He's still mad at the call at the other end on the moving screen.
Those guys are doing a little chest bumping out there. Fighting for position before the ball even gets across midcourt. See, that's something that I like about Illinois' system. They get their motion offense going before they even get across midcourt with the basketball.
Do a lot of things, a lot of 5-man motion. Bryson has yet to shoot it, but he's going to get his first attempt here. Contact, and out of bounds again off Wichita State. Second time in the last 2 possessions, but Wichita State not able to grab a rebound. Illinois State will keep it, trailing by 1. Tyrese Bryson, set out last year, getting eligible academically, but wincing in some pain.
Got the number 1 and 2 scorers in the league, and Bryson and Maurice Evans for Wichita State on the floor.
Push underneath called on Wichita State. And Bart Veskis is going to be called for the foul by Jerry Petro.
Wichita State foul number 11, Bart Veskis. What we got?
Murdoch on the play, buries it. And L.D. Murdoch has 4 of the 6 Illinois State tallies. In the first half. Veskis driving against Murdoch, and Murdoch will be called for the foul. First foul on Murdoch, second team foul on Illinois State.
Off the basketball, look at Veskis, gets the step right here on Murdoch, tries to take him baseline. Murdoch doesn't get there in time. Try to get that foot on the baseline. That's how you stop the baseline penetration. He doesn't get there in time.
Maurice Evans yet to score. Tyrone Brown's done a good job on him. Couldn't get the shooters on that attempt, and it's going to be a held ball that's forced by the defense. This should go to Wichita State, and it does. Let's talk about that rule change, because we've seen 2 held balls now, Debbie. One went to the possession arrow, the other went to the defense. Let's explain the rule.
Well, Mitch, this is a rule I really like because it rewards the defense for their effort. Watch right here. Bryson's got possession, and they're saying that Lemons tied him up, who was on the defensive end of the floor. And so the ball will stay with Wichita State.
Before, it was a simultaneous held ball, meaning the defense did not force the held ball, meaning it goes back to the traditional possession arrow. Illinois State in a man-to-man. Kyle Cartmell in the lineup. Miss there. Jason Perez trying to rip it loose underneath from Tyrese Bryson, and Bryson is fouling, and there's the strength of Wichita State. These guys look like bodybuilders. It's almost like GNC sponsors their program. That time the strength of Perez picked up a foul on Illinois State.
Well, it was Perez's strength and knowing how to use it on the weak side glass. He goes to the boards, reads the jumper, taken at the elbow, and 90% of the time the rebound is going to come on the weak side.
Vesquez, Troy Mack inside, stripped by Cartmill. And for the first time in the game, Illinois State in transition, and Cartmill with the bucket.
That's just smart right there. Cartmill down there contesting Mack. He's got to take that up strong against Cartmill. And then the 3-on-1, and Cartmill doesn't get anybody to commit defensively, and he knocks down the jumper.
Redbirds, a lead of 3 inside of 16 minutes in the first half.
Look at Perez try to post up Bryson down on the ball side.
Evans can shoot the 3, misses it there, and there's contact underneath.
That banging was going on between Perez and Bryson down low. Perez trying to use his size and strength to post up Bryson, and he gets the foul off the basketball.
Illinois State has a 3-point lead. Perez is called for the foul. That is his second. As early in Valley play, the Redbirds up in the advantage. Look at Tyrese Bryson. Good-looking guard out of Decatur, Illinois. At 28 against Wisconsin, and Maurice Evans has yet to score in the game for Wichita State, and the Shockers still within 3.
You know, that's a good sign for Randy Smithson and his team. Now, right here, they're looking to show a little zone on this possession defensively.
Evans did not score against Kansas State during the week in a Shocker loss in Manhattan, but came back for 23 in the second half in that game. Murdoch missing.
You know, Wichita State's trying to disguise the zone, but really they're in a man.
They're making it look like a matchup almost. And there is a foul underneath on Troy Mack of Wichita State, who is elbowing for position underneath against Tyrone Brown of the Birds.
You see, that's where a young guy's got to learn how to post up down low. He had position. All he's got to do is call for the basketball, make the defense try to work to get around him. Instead of throwing the elbow and trying to create space that way, you got to move your body.
Both of these teams stress defense and toughness. We've only played 5 minutes in the game, and Illinois State is 1 foul from getting to the 1-and-1.
Look how active Wichita State is on the basketball. Really staying active at the defensive end, and there's the trap and the steal.
And a hold on Murdoch.
Great read by Evans. When you see the trap, Evans reacts quickly to the nearest passing lane. That is smart basketball right there.
I want to ask you what Wichita State is doing here defensively. So they're disguising the zone and then switching to man. They're doing an effective job of it.
They are, Mitch, and that's what they're doing right here. And then the ball goes to the sideline, and they trap. And there you see Evans with a great anticipation getting into the passing lane. Now I think they're disguising the zone, trying to make Illinois State think, use up time on the shot clock, let them try to run their zone offense, and then, hey, the light kind of clicks. Hey, this is our man. We got to run our man offense.
Ryan Crowley in for Illinois State, trying to guard Maurice Evans this time. Evans with the miss, and Sean Riley is stripped underneath by Terrell Benton of the Shockers, and Benton is fouling, and Illinois State will go to the bonus with 14:30 left in the first half and an 8-5 Bird lead.
See, and that's got to be a concern for Randy Smithson. We talked about it being one of our keys to the game. You know, Illinois State shoots at 76% from the line as a team. That is outstanding. Matter of fact, number 6 in the country. You can't put these guys to the line and expect to stay tight in the basketball game, particularly at the 14:30 mark here in the first half. You don't want to give Illinois State easy looks. You got to make them earn it.
Sean Riley, a 7-foot junior, started his career at North Texas, played for Tim Jankovic there, and a good friend of Kevin Stallings. Jankovic now the junior college coach at Hutchinson Junior College. But Riley's a good free throw shooter for a 7-footer. 86% at one point, Debbie hit 14 in a row this season and misses that one. Birds up by 4, 14:25 left in the half. Evans really struggling, trying to get a shot to go down. For that miss, he's 0 for 5 in the game. Williams traveled with it.
You know, Williams just a little bit out of control. That's a freshman mistake right there. Doesn't have the numbers in transition, but still looking to attack the basket. And you got to push it up strong and look to attack. But when you don't have it, you got to pull it back and run your stuff offensively. Right here, watch Evans forces him to the baseline. Then he gets stuck down there, 5'10". And he's a little guy trying to find a passing lane from the baseline.
Kevin Stallings always talks about spacing, angles, decision-making. It's just going to take some time for these younger guys to get that down consistently. As another foul called against Wichita State.
Wichita State's not even getting a chance to get a shot off. They've had a couple possessions since the last time out where they've had calls off the basketball. That takes possession away. It doesn't even give them a chance to get a shot off, and it puts Illinois State to the line.
Victor Williams going there, 71%. In his first game as a Redbird, 19. In his very first Division I game. Played at one of the great high school programs in the country at Wyandotte High School in Kansas City, a school that's produced Lucius Allen, among others.
Does Victor Williams have all the tools? Yes. Is he going to be a good point guard? Yes, he is. He's just got to learn on the fly. And Kevin Stallings and his staff have been very patient with him and teaching him the way they want it done.
Terrell Benton, another freshman for Wichita State. Craig Stephen, another freshman. Stephen forcing.
Yeah, now see, Stephen, another freshman error right there. He had the open look from 3, no one guarding him. He elects to dribble into traffic, then take the tough jumper.
Let's take a look at it again. Wichita State has 3 freshmen on the floor right now.
Look how open he is. He is wide open. He's not even looking at the basket. Victor Williams late in getting over there to defend. Then he dribbles into traffic, and Williams does a good job of contesting. You got to take the open look when it's there. That's why we say, who else besides Evans and Perez are going to score for Wichita State? They got to show some confidence. Some of the other guys got to do it by committee.
Illinois State leads 10-5, and a foul now on Craig Stephen of Wichita State. Already 9 team fouls called on the Shockers at 13:24 left in the first half. And in going to the line for a 1 plus the penalty is Kyle Cartmill, who's 10 of 11 this season at the line.
Kyle Cartmill, senior with experience, a guy that comes off the bench ready to play, likes coming off the bench.
Debbie, he was spectacular last year in that NCAA tournament win over Tennessee. With some injuries in the backcourt last year for the Birds, Cartmill really stepped up. He's a member of the All-Missouri Valley Conference bench team last year, but he has given some very good minutes in his career to Kevin Stallings.
Kevin Stallings has got to be thinking, we got to get the ball down low. We've got the lead, but we haven't even given Leroy Watkins a chance to go to work yet.
Wichita State, a long dry spell here. They led 5-2 at one point, and now a timeout is called by Maurice Evans before he is called for a 5-second held ball violation. A 20-second timeout saving WSU from a turnover. One of the highlights of the season in college basketball is Arch Madness. Take my word, folks, it's one of the great postseason tournaments in the country. The 1999 Diet Pepsi Missouri Valley Conference Tournament at Kiel Center in St. Louis. February 26th through March 1st, all 10 league teams will be there. For tickets, and get them now, call 1-800-916-0041. Some of the best moments, really, of college basketball have come from the Diet Pepsi Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. Not long ago, those Bradley Southwest Missouri State battles back and forth from 3 and 2 years back, respectively. Wichita State really struggling here, trying to get a shot down, Debbie. They have not scored in almost 5 minutes.
You know, they turn the ball over, but the shots that they have attempted, they've gotten some pretty good looks. You know, I like Maurice Evans not trying to force things. I think he's gotten some good looks, just not falling down for him.
Well, Evans and Perez, neither one has scored. When you combine their averages, they average 41 points a game.
Well, they've scored more than half the Wichita State points in every single game this season.
In fact, only 2 other players have been in double figures at all this season. Darren Williams being one and Craig Stephen being the other. Lemon shooting with 2 seconds on the shot clock. And Illinois State trying to rip it loose. Now a tie-up is Kurt Flowers.
You know, this is meant as a compliment when I say this to Wichita State. The uglier, the better. The more they can get this game played, use enough possession time on the clock, hustling and battling, coming up with the loose ball. Right there, look at Lemons right there hustling, and then Flowers hits the floor. And Illinois State's right there with him.
Well, you're going to get effort out of both of these teams.
Oh, they're going to play hard. That's why I mean that as a compliment. I mean, they're going to come at you and try to get the tempo in their favor.
Maurice Evans finally scores, that time over a Illinois State double team. So the first bucket of the game for Mo Evans comes at 12:25 left in the first half. Watkins with one of his first few touches. Out of bounds to Illinois State with 26 to shoot and a 12-7 Illinois State advantage.
We've been talking about the high-low look of Illinois State, and that was a good example of what we're talking about. Riley, you've got to respect from the three-point line. You got to defend him, and that gives Watkins a chance to try to float across and flash into the lane.
Watkins will rest, so will Cartmill. Well, Illinois State puts Murdoch and Tyrese Bryson back in the game. So now the two transfers, Riley and Murdoch, in the game at the same time for ISU. Murdoch, there's the high-low. And a foul on Wichita State. A steal, actually, by Maurice Evans. And the Shockers are going to get a foul called on Kurt Flowers. And that's going to be 10 team fouls, meaning Illinois State's in the double bonus with 12:04 left in the half.
The last two possessions, Illinois State's trying to get the ball down low. They've got to establish something on the interior. That's where one of their strengths is. Take a look right here at how Riley's posting up inside. And then Evans comes over, and that could have been a steal. Flowers commits a foul on the backside. And that puts Riley to the line. So instead of Illinois State or Wichita State having possession and going the other way, Illinois State's back at the line.
Sean Riley, 2 free throws down. He has 3 for the game. And the Redbirds lead 14-7, 8 minutes deep into the contest. Greg Stephen. This is Maurice Evans. You'd think it'd be a mismatch against Crowley, but Crowley defends him well, and this is off Wichita State.
Well, I'll tell you, Crowley did a great job of defending. Watching that sequence, he follows hard behind the screens to stay with Evans. And Evans just loses control of the basketball.
Illinois State has made it very hard on Maurice Evans, just 2 points, and that means a 7-point Redbird lead.
Back in Redbird Arena, Illinois State with a 7-point lead, not because they've established it inside, but because they're getting to the free throw line. But the effort is there. Watch right here, the trailer area, how Riley will come into your screen, and then watch the action inside, how they're trying to go the high-low look into Watkins. 4 black jerseys surround Leroy Watkins when he gets the ball inside. That's demanding and drawing a little bit of attention inside by Watkins.
6 of the 14 Illinois State points, and we played just over 8 minutes, have come at the foul stripe. And Wichita State has had some problems with fouling. Debbie, they fouled 32 times against Rutgers in the Hawaii tournament, and they fouled 27 times against Hawaii in that same tournament. Riley with a bucket. He has 5, and the Redbirds had their biggest lead of the game thus far at 9.
You know, we talked about pressure D without fouling as being one of the keys, and we're not seeing that happen for Wichita State. They've got to keep the pressure on. They've got to quit fouling off the basketball, particularly at the offensive end where it's taking possession away from them.
That's a good point. It's not on the ball fouls as much as it is off the ball. And another foul. This time, Maurice Evans had lost it and was trying to get back to it. And it'll be 2 more shots for Illinois State. Let's take a look at North Texas transfer Sean Riley for Illinois State.
Well, this is a great time to penetrate the baseline and spread out the D, and that's how Williams is able to kick it inside to Riley. He gets to step on Evans. A good job of distributing the basketball, and now we see Illinois State trying to get something going down in the box. I think that's where their strength is, and that's where Wichita State is vulnerable on the interior. Leroy Watkins, L.D. Murdoch, and Sean Riley are 3 very solid big men in this league that can score points and keep the balance on offense that Kevin Stallings is looking for.
The 12th free throw attempt of the first half is good for Illinois State from Tyrone Brown, who split a pair. And the Birds now have a double-digit lead of 10, with 11:05 left in the first half. Perez shut out this far. Illinois State does a great job of switching defenses, but they're very good in just straight man. This time it's on Brown, trying to poke it loose from Maurice Evans. That's the first foul on Brown.
5 fouls on the Redbirds. Out of bounds,
Wichita State led at 1.5 to 2, and there's a holding foul on Victor Williams of Illinois State. That'll catch the ire at the middle of your screen from head coach Kevin Stallings.
That'll give 2 fouls on Victor Williams, and now Kyle Cartmill will come in to play the point guard spot for Illinois State. Those are the kind of fouls that Kevin Stallings talked to us about at shoot-around today, that he wants his young freshmen not to commit. He wants them to play smarter because he wants them on the floor.
Perez. Evans with Lemons. Darren Williams with a rare outside shot, forcing and missing. And here comes Bryson as Illinois State will push.
See, Wichita State's got enough perimeter shooters. They need Williams to get down low on the blocks and try to score inside.
Veskis now matched up with Riley. Illinois State with possession, up 10. 18 to shoot. Watkins a double on him, leaving Cartmill open for this 3. Kyle Cartmill with 7.
That's big right there. Illinois State kicks it inside. Watkins feels the double team, and then Cartmill relocates on the perimeter.
Cartmill just his 5th three-point make of the season, but he can shoot him. Last year in league games alone, he was first in the league in conference play at 53% beyond the arch. Let's take a look at that relocation you were mentioning.
Here's the double team right there, and then Cartmill comes from the weak side to ball side. Gets squared up. Great looking jump shot from the top of the key. That's the kind of productivity off the bench that Kevin Stallings is looking for.
Darren Williams will go to the line for Wichita State.
Darren Williams not quite at 100% yet this year, struggling with an ankle problem. And as you said before, Mitch, you know, Wichita State is going to continue to get better and better and will develop as Darren Williams develops inside. And they've got to have somebody that they can go to inside to score points for them.
Another guy you would think could develop is Troy Mack, the sophomore from Detroit. Williams 1 of 2. Watkins with the board. The foul is on Tyrone Brown. That's his 2nd. So Illinois State now fighting some foul trouble. And the Shockers are in the first bonus. And Cartmill with back-to-back 3-pointers.
Cartmill does a great job of reading the pick and roll, the pick on the ball. Wesky shows up high, but Evans couldn't get there in time. Cartmill knocked it down.
If he hits those shots, Debbie, it's like pick your poison, because Wichita State still needs to double down on Watkins.
Well, now you don't double and leave Cartmill. You got to leave somebody else. That's the strategy there.
23-8. Illinois State with the advantage. Perez, a good look at a 3, missing. And Sean Riley is going to be called for a foul, trying to block out on Bart Veskis. The foul on Riley is his first, but now WSU will go to the line to shoot 1-1.
1-1.
The last 3 times down the floor, Illinois State's been called for something off the basketball, the defensive end.
Veskis just 2 of 7 at the line. And Watkins chasing down the loose ball for Illinois State. 23-8 Redbirds. They've lost only twice here at home in the last 2 years in Valley play, losing to Northern Iowa and to Southwest Missouri State. Nice give and go. Wichita State defends it, and the defense will initiate this held ball, and Wichita State's going to get it as Maurice Evans alertly tying up Cartmill.
That's the rule that we really like. Defense being rewarded for their effort, getting the possession of the basketball.
What about the help here, Wichita State defensively?
Well, watch Cartmill. He dribbles into traffic, and then he gets stuck. He gets inside, and there's Williams who doubles him, and there comes Evans who's trailing, ties him up. And he got into traffic there at 6 foot and in with the big guys, and he's got to pivot out of that. Look for help.
Steven. Nice feed. See if Veskis can finish. Not. And Crowley with the board for Illinois State. Watkins, 1-on-1. Good low catch, but Veskis with the defense and board. Steven, contact. Recall the former football player finding lemons in the corner to keep Wichita State with a chance to score.
Well, Wichita State needs a good offensive possession here. They've got to get something from the floor. Now, I'd like to see them use their interior guys as passers a little bit more. Kick it in there, relocate on the perimeter, find a way to get your perimeter players open.
Little inside-out game.
I just don't see them doing that in their offense. On tape, where I watched them on tape, I didn't see them doing that either. They've got to get the interior guys involved.
Excellent offensive rebound underneath by Wichita State, but they're going to call Darren Williams for a foul before the board, maybe. Nope, no. They're going to call the foul on Illinois State.
Watch this whole sequence right here. Stevens doesn't have the numbers. Cartmill trying to draw the charge. And then Steven hustles with a rebound. Lemons doesn't have the shot, so he pulls it back out. Now the jumper from the perimeter, and watch the weak side glass. Foul called by Riley for the shot, trying to box out Williams.
Darren Williams has not really embraced the free throw line in his career thus far at Wichita State. His brother B.J. Williams played at Kansas. Illinois State outscoring the Shockers at the line in a big way here early. But Darren Williams leads Wichita State in scoring with 5. Evans just 2. Perez yet to score, and the Birds lead by 13. State, which has won 82% of their games in the league since this building was built, leading by 13.
They're leading by 13 because they've been getting to the free throw line and they've been knocking down the shots when they get there. But here we talk about Wichita State's perimeter doing all their scoring. There's a guy, Westgeist, you don't expect to knock down a tray. Murdoch takes the bank, and then here's the inside-outside work of Illinois State. Kyle Cartmill buries the tray, and then off the screen, Cartmill back-to-back three-pointers.
Cartmill now playing the point and gets a shot off a feed from Bryson, but can't get it to go. The other thing you think about Wichita State is trying to score a little bit in transition. Veskis left alone and gets a layup. Veskis has 5 points, 3 over his average. So some other guys trying to lift Wichita State here.
Well, that's transition defense by Illinois State, not getting back and communicating.
Murdoch, and a foul underneath. It's on Wichita State. It'll be on Jason Perez. And for Perez, his 3rd foul. Yet to score, averaging 17 per game. And Perez will probably have to set down now. He was called for the foul on the blockout. 3 fouls on Perez, and to the line, Ryan Crowley.
Take a look at Wichita State's possession right here. No communication in transition defense, and Westgeist left all alone, unprotecting the basket. Illinois State did not communicate at their end.
Crowley missing the first free throw. Normally very good, 79%, and missed them both. Illinois State has had a chance to bury Wichita State here at the line, but Murdoch missed 2. Crowley's missed 2. Riley said just 3 of 4, and Victor Williams 1 of 2 at the line. 7:10 left in the half. Foul away from the ball. It's on Illinois State.
Well, Perez trying to pop out to get the entry pass on the wing, and he's going to get a chance to go to the line. Now, Randy Smithson has a decision to make with Perez with 3 fouls, and he's elected to leave him on the floor right now at this juncture in the basketball game. He's got to believe that his junior experienced guard can play without fouling. Got to have him in the game at this point.
Crowley called for the foul. Now Wichita State is in the double bonus. Perez short on his first attempt, and he's a 78% shooter at the line. You know, these December conference games are tough. For the Missouri Valley Conference, 10 teams in the league, 18 league games. You have to play some games in December, but these teams are still in the formative stages. When you play a league game, it adds a little bit of importance, but these 2 teams still are experimenting.
Well, you know, you always say this time of the year the defense is ahead of the offense, and right now Wichita State has struggled at the offensive end. They've struggled all season long trying to find someone else that could score points for them.
Perez sets down with his 3 fouls, and the coach's son has entered the game for Wichita State, Reggie Smithson. This is Kyle Cartmill with a couple of threes in the game. He leads all scorers with 10, and now playing point guard with Victor Williams setting down. Watkins, maybe the strongest player in the league, not able to convert. They get Evans a good look here. And finally a 3 for Maurice Evans, and he has 5.
See, I think that's what Wichita State wants to do, Mitch. They want to stretch this thing out and make Illinois State guard him 94 feet in transition. Illinois State, Kevin Stallings says, we need a 20-second timeout. Talk about this a little bit.
Take a look at the last Shocker bucket. Again, Maurice Evans has had trouble scoring, but here's where transition allows the Shockers to get a hoop.
Well, Craig Stephen doing a good job reversing the basketball in transition, throwing the skip pass, and Evans spotting up behind the arc. Now, there's a little leadership, a little emotion that Randy Smithson's been asking from Perez and Evans.
Craig Stephen, an old quarterback for Bishop Carroll High School in Wichita. In fact, it was thought he was going to play college football. That was a quarterback-looking feed to find Evans coming down the floor. But you were talking about that. They need to be more fluid in the half court. But it seems like if you can get your 80-foot offense going, that's going to create you some opportunities.
Yeah, Wichita State has certainly got Evans who can run the floor, can score anywhere. Now watch Illinois State execute in this offensive possession, because you know that Kevin Stallings told him, let's get a good look.
And that's Cartmill. Bryson strong. Loses control of the ball, and Evans has it back. Wichita State was trailing by 13 at one point. Now they've cut it to 7 with a chance to cut it even more.
That's right. Give it inside. Give it to Veskis. He's working hard for calling for the ball. Now's the kick out, but you've got to get in a position where you can score.
Evans for 3, drains it over Crowley. Maurice Evans back-to-back trays, and Wichita State remarkably is within 4 at 5:55 left in the half. Bryson against the double team, and an offensive foul called on Tyrese Bryson. And Wichita State, their offense now even helping their defense out.
And watch this right here. Bryson trying to dribble out of the double team, turns his back to the offense. And when you do that, you can't see the open pass, but Craig Stephen doing a good job of staying in the trap, trying to keep Bryson in that trap, chasing him down the baseline.
This is a league now that is starting to really develop some great point guards. Ryan Sears at Creighton. Of course, the guards at SMS, they're committee guard by committee. Michael Menzer at Indiana State, and Stephen trying to become that kind of player.
Well, Wichita State did recognize the fact that Illinois State was in a 1-3 and a chaser in that possession, chasing Evans.
Wichita State on a 13-0 run, Debbie Antonelli, to cut the lead to 2. Riley, and there's an offensive foul. Back-to-back possessions for Illinois State have resulted in offensive fouls. Sean Riley called for his 3rd.
And what Riley does is uses the bounce, but doesn't use it to improve his angle to the basket. He improves into traffic. And Weskis gets outside the lane, keeps vertical with his hands up, and draws the charge.
Now it's Illinois State that has had trouble scoring. 23-21 Redbirds, but they led at one point, I believe, 23-10. Stephen missing a layup. Cartmill and the Birds want to attack. Blocked by Maurice Evans.
See, again, in transition, it wasn't there. Cartmill's got to pull it out and run the offense. You got to have confidence and trust your system.
Good look for Cartmill. And the Redbirds cold, and Crowley fouling over the back of the coach's son. No, maybe they're going to call this on Smithson. Hang on. They're going to call it on Reggie Smithson, who wears the same number his daddy wore when he played at Wichita State. Reggie Smithson called for the foul. And Ryan Crowley will go to the line to shoot 2. A 13-0 Wichita State run. A second-generation Shocker. Well, his granddaddy coached at Wichita State when Randy played for Gene. Gene also coached here at Illinois State. Free throw missed by Crowley. He's now 0 for 3 at the line, and he's normally 79%. But you were talking last night at practice about how Reggie was helping coach. It was almost like his dad had another guy on the staff.
He was working the baseline down there, helping the young guys. You know, Randy Smithson told me that we're just going to have to go with our young guys on the interior. They're going to have to grow up quickly. And that's exactly what Reggie was doing down there. He was working on Troy Mack a little bit.
We have seen the backcourt scoring, Debbie, completely flip-flop in this game. As Illinois State had a 9-0 advantage at one point. Now Wichita State with 8 backcourt points. A press by the Redbirds, leading by 3. Maurice Evans ties it on the press break. Another 3. Evans suddenly explodes for 11 first-half points.
Well, that's one guy you've got to know where he is in transition, and Illinois State's not picking him up fast enough. That's why Kevin Stallings went to the 1-3 in the chaser last time. Wichita State is able to score in transition.
Wichita State trying to trap Bryson. And a foul on the Shockers. Wichita State able to get some things done again in the fast break as Reggie Smithson fouling.
Well, look at Evans coming across half court. Now you've got to protect the basket in transition. Illinois State sprints back, but he is left wide open from three-point land. And that's a guy that you got to stick a hand in his face.
And Debbie, if I'm not mistaken, all 3 of his threes have been off either transition or secondary offense.
That's exactly right, Mitch. I mean, he is calling for the basketball, and Wichita State is finding him in transition.
And yet at Illinois State trying to make a living at the line. Bryson with the free throw. There's a sub in. Darian Williams. He's playing with 2 fouls. And also battling a groin injury. Probably playing a few more minutes than Randy Smithson was even expecting him to play because of his injury rehab. Second miss by Bryson, but tipped out. And Watkins gets a 3-point possession for the Redbirds.
Well, when Watkins catches it, isolated down low, and he's got a one-on-one, you got to know he's going to take it to the basket and look to score.
27-24, Birds by 3. Inside of 4 minutes now in the half. Lemons forcing from the point for 3. Evans with an athletic tip try, not there. Shockers working hard on the offensive rebounding end. Evans feels it.
Boy, he is hot. He is hot, Mitch. He's made 4 3-pointers in this first half, and there he is doing it at the defensive end.
Jumping in the passing lane and forcing a turnover. Illinois State, all of a sudden, seeing Maurice Evans fire up Wichita State. He has 14, and the Shockers have tied it up.
Some people buy cut-rate car insurance figuring they'll probably never have a claim. But then something goes wrong, and there's no State Farm agent to turn to for help. So the choice is yours. Go with a State Farm agent who will be there for you, or go it alone.
Time to get a rush. G-Shock Rush Hour. Crank, racing, jump, mountain biking, motocross, and more. Board Wild, skate, snow, wake, and surf. Extreme Sports, a weekly wrap-up of all the action. Extremists, the most extreme athletes, the most outrageous stunts. Friday, the best of Rush Hour. Now, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m., get a rush with G-Shock Rush Hour. Here on Fox Sports Net.
Meet Wayne Best. He saw the kids in his community without direction and did something about it. He got them off the streets and put them to work, teaching important lessons in community service, responsibility, and helping others. So he can spend more time on foxsports.com, where he enters his zip code to get the latest on his favorite home teams. It's like Fox Sports Net online.
Wichita State has outscored Illinois State 19-4. Why, Debbie Antonelli? Because Maurice Evans has his acetylene torch out.
Well, it shouldn't be a surprise to us. I mean, the guy is number 8 in the country in scoring right now, and he leads the Missouri Valley in scoring. And we talked about him scoring from all over the floor. In transition, he has been deadly. How can you not find Maurice Evans and put a hand in his face, particularly in transition? He is left wide open for 3 after 3 after 3.
A turnover by the Shockers as a steal by Tyrone Brown for Illinois State. Here's a look at the three-point shooting. The Shockers 5 of 12, but Evans is 4 of 6 in those numbers.
Well, Williams did a good job of pushing Watkins just a little bit out of that comfort zone. If he catches it on the sweet spot, he is going to score. But they're doing a pretty good job of pushing him off the lane and up the lane.
Wichita State doing a good job on Watkins. And you know out of the timeout that Kevin Stallings wanted to go there to get a bucket. Game tied at 27.
Well, you got to have confidence in knowing that the big guy can do it. Now he's out there guarding Evans.
Bryson against Maurice Evans, the second block of the first half by Maurice Evans.
I tell you, Evans is doing it at both ends of the floor. Randy Smithson said, who's going to be our leader? I'll tell you who the best candidate is right now is Maurice Evans. Check that out right there. That's his second block, both in transition. The guy's running the floor at both ends.
Bryson has held to just 1 point. He averages 19. Cartmill's been the hero so far for ISU. And Maurice Evans with the rebound.
Now that's guarding Evans right there. Cartmill picked him up right at the midcourt stripe.
14 points, 4 rebounds. Williams ISO'd inside. He traveled with it. Good post defense by Leroy Watkins of Illinois State. 27-27 tie. 2 minutes left in the first half.
And there's something about Reggie Smithson that I noticed right away. Being a coach's son, he understands angles and how to feed the post. He made a great bounce pass inside to Williams. Even though Williams didn't convert, still you've got to establish something on the interior.
L.D. Murdoch in traffic. And he travels with it with good post defense on the other side from Wichita State.
No flow right now for Illinois State at the offensive end. You know, I look for them to make 4 or 5 passes in their offense. Kevin Stallings is such a great teacher of balance and spacing at the offensive end of the floor. They need to get a few more touches.
You know, the other thing, Debbie, they're not getting done is shifting the floor back and forth. Something else they'll do. They reverse the basketball as well as any team in the country at times. Good defense there. L.D. Murdoch with the steal. Tyrone Brown against Smithson. And Kurt Flowers with help side defense and a turnover.
I think Illinois State needs a little team offense. Make a few passes. No dribble into traffic. You know Wichita State's going to converge to the basketball.
Steven wheels around Cartmill. Finds Smithson. Well, who's going to score in this group out there now for Wichita State? Carl Lemons will. Had a toe on the line. Lemons his first bucket. Neither Perez or Evans on the floor. And a big bucket for Carl Lemons. It's the first lead for Wichita State. They lead by 2 since 18 minutes left in the first half. And a 5-second violation called against Illinois State. Carl Lemons able to get his feet set in a quick shot.
Well, watch his feet right here on the replay. He is toeing the line right there. You can see he's got his toe on the line. Good call by the official. 2-point bucket.
Good look on our State Farm replay. Illinois State 4 straight turnovers. A 22nd timeout called by Wichita State with 40.3 seconds left in the first half and a 29-27 lead for the Wichita State Shockers. The Missouri Valley Conference has had a great start to the season. Some great wins by the league. Creighton is up top. In fact, they were second in the nation in the Sagarin ratings, Debbie, at 6-1. And Southwest Missouri beat Missouri earlier. Creighton won at Iowa early this season.
Great wins by the conference and should do well for the RPI rating of the league.
Bradley also won earlier against Penn State. They're 4-2 with their excellent guards. But a good start to the Missouri Valley Conference. Northern Iowa beat Iowa State. In fact, 3 wins right now by the Missouri Valley Conference over the Big 12 so far this year.
Little 4 corners offense right now by Wichita State trying to use up the shot clock.
Shot clock is at 20. Game clock is at 24. 4-second differential. Reggie Smithson lays it in. Reggie Smithson with a bucket. The coach's son puts his dad's team up by 4 points after trailing by 15 points earlier in the half. And Illinois State will try a 3. Bryson with the miss. And a foul on the rebound as Kurt Flowers gets the board, and he'll shoot free throws with 2.9 seconds left in the half. No, this foul's going to go against Wichita State maybe. And Randy Smithson's trying to check it. As he's trying to figure out who the foul's on, Flowers is going to be called for the foul.
Well, Cartmill throws up the 3, and it rims in and out. And the foul's got to be on Flowers.
Pokes it away from Leroy Watkins. Second foul on Flowers. Watkins will shoot 2.
Not a foul that Randy Smithson wants Flowers committing with less than 3 seconds to play. But Illinois State is getting to the line, but they're not knocking them down today, Mitch.
9 of 18, 50%, and a team that normally shoots 76% at the line, 6th in the country. Watkins missed them both. And Wichita State is going to take a 4-point lead to the halftime locker room after trailing at 1 point, 23-8. The Shockers have surprised Illinois State thus far in Redbird Arena, where the Redbirds have been dominant. As again, Wichita State trailed at 1 point, 23-8. And at halftime leads Wichita State 31-27. When we return, we'll take a look at some special features as we look at Illinois State University, and there's a surprise. Wichita State, a heavy underdog coming in, leading the young Redbirds of Illinois State 31-27. Mitch Holtis with you, along with Debbie Antonelli. The Shockers outscored Illinois State 23-4 in the last 8 minutes of the half. What'd they do?
Well, they got the ball to Maurice Evans. He was wide open in transition. Illinois State did not do a very good job of finding him. And then when they did, they switched up their D a little bit to stick a hand in his face in the half-court situation. But Illinois State cannot have those periods of droughts, those long periods of not scoring with the offensive talent that they have on the floor.
I mentioned it's been a great start for the Valley early in the season in November. And
a lifetime of reading.
The Just Read program is a cooperative effort between the Missouri Valley Conference and State Farm Insurance. The community outreach program, Just Read, features student athletes emphasizing the importance of reading to elementary school students throughout the Missouri Valley Conference. Among those athletes, Illinois State's Leroy Watkins.
Little porcupine looks in the mirror.
The big center usually scores points down low for the Redbirds, but now is also scoring points with kids in the classroom. And one Bloomington, Illinois second grader is well aware why reading is so important for athletes.
To read the world.
For the Missouri Valley Conference Network, I'm Mike Bloomberg.
The Just Read program brought to you by the Missouri Valley Conference and by State's VDK Frozen Foods. Missouri Valley Conference legend is Illinois State's Dan Muller. A 3-time member of the league's all-defense team, Muller scored a total of 1,445 points during his collegiate career. Muller became only the second player in league history to earn back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year honors. In 1998, he was named the most valuable player of the Diet Pepsi Missouri Valley Conference tournament, while guiding the Redbirds to a second straight NCAA tournament appearance. A 2-time academic All-American, Illinois State's Dan Muller. The Redbirds have won 80% winning percentage the last 2 years. That's 8th in the nation. The Wichita State has other items at half as the Shockers outscoring the Redbirds 23-4 to end the half. Let's check in now, Debbie, with our TWA halftime stats.
Well, you know, Mitch, when you look at the numbers right here, 9 for 19. That is not very good for a team in Illinois State that shoots at 76% from the floor. Illinois State is out-rebounding them. But points off of turnovers, 12-4. Not very good for Illinois State in transition defense because Wichita State is turning their defense into offense. And take a look right here at one of the ways that they're doing that off the miss. Wichita State is just beating Illinois State down the floor, and look how wide open number 8 in the nation in scoring is Maurice Evans, and he just spots up behind the three-point line in transition and knocks down the perimeter jumper. He has made 4 of 6 from beyond the three-point arc, and you've got to stick a hand in that guy's face, but more importantly, you've got to know where he is at the offensive end of the floor. Right now, I would play Maurice Evans to put the ball on the floor. I'd get up in his grill and make him put the ball on the deck and make him earn his points, taking it to the basket. Don't let him spot up behind the arc and let him just bury you from the three-point line.
Yeah, that's what's surprising is how the Redbirds have lost Maurice Evans, particularly in transition, where I know you want to defend basket first and inside out, but they've just lost him about 3 possessions. Set play as Tyrone Brown for Illinois State, who has the first possession of the second half, missing. Perez playing with 3 fouls, trying to post up on Bryson. Lemons hit one late in the half. Can't miss the open shot. Misses the open shot, I should say, and Illinois State has it back. 4-point lead for Wichita State. And Maurice Evans reaching in behind Tyrese Bryson. Second foul on Evans.
Bryson, a guy 0 for 5 from the floor in the first half with only 1 point. Now, he comes into this game as the leading scorer for Illinois State. Now, playing the numbers and the percentages, Kevin Stallings got to believe that Bryson is going to come alive here in the second half.
L.D. Murdoch with the miss. Yeah, Bryson can explode, much like Evans. He had 28 against Wisconsin, 28 against Southern Mississippi.
And he scored 15 consecutive points in that stretch. So you know he can score a lot of points in a hurry for Illinois State.
Wichita State on a 23-4 run wrapped around the half. Shot clock at 11. Lemons kicks it out of bounds. Victor Williams, good defense on the ball.
And see, Darren Williams was open down on the box. If Lemons had dribbled around the perimeter a little bit better to create an angle to get the ball inside. Look how open Williams is inside. But instead, he dribbles into traffic and loses it off his foot.
Our replays brought to you by the great people at State Farm Insurance. Illinois State needs a bucket. Good place to go is Watkins. Banks it in on the left side, and Watkins has 6.
You know, I'm thinking over here, give it to him. Deliver him the basketball. He's calling for it, and he's wide open. Williams has got to get it to the big guy when he's down low, calling for the ball.
Offensive foul. Darren Williams backing in and called for an elbow on Leroy Watkins, and for Darren Williams, his 3rd personal foul.
See, Williams is in position down low. I don't understand why Wichita State continues to get that foul called on them when they're not involved in actual activity on the basketball. The ball is coming over to his side. Work for position.
A little chase look here by Wichita State. Illinois State likes to do the same thing defensively. Force from Tyrone Brown, and Wichita State will get it. Neither team able to be very fluid offensively, but credit the defense of the other team. Let's take a look at the last last Illinois State possession.
This is what I'm talking about. Look at Williams right in here, okay? The ball is being dribbled to his side of the floor. All he needs to do is work for position, but instead he uses his hands. He doesn't use his body. He uses his hands to try to push Watkins out of the way, and that's how he gets the foul called.
Wichita State back with it, leading by 2. Vesgeest. Watkins out on the floor, dropping down like a guard, doubling on Jason Perez. 19 to shoot for the Shockers. This is Perez, 1 point for him. Again, he averages 17. Troy Mack blocked by Watkins. But Lemons keeps it for Wichita State. Deep 3, Perez. Illinois State good at blocking shots. They average 5 per game. Watkins.
Good decision by Watkins to get it back out.
As Wichita State hustles to prevent a shot for Illinois State. A 2 will tie it. A 3 will give the Birds the lead. Watkins works against Vesgeest underneath. The game is tied.
That is a great offensive possession by Illinois State because they attack the basket in transition, make Wichita State guard them all the way to the hole, and then they get ball reversal, get a lot of touches, and Watkins on the offensive glass.
Evans answers for the Shockers with a 3. The 5th 3-point field goal of the game for Mo Evans. He has 17 points. And the Shockers regain the lead by 3.
You can start to sense Illinois State getting a little tempo in their offense, getting a little feel. Spreading out the defense, getting the ball reversal, then the dump down. Wide open, Watkins inside.
And the double down, actually a triple down. Perez and Evans both there, helping with post defense. The Shockers score here will be their biggest lead of the game. Evans against Brown, way short. Good defense by Tyrone Brown, and it's out of bounds to Illinois State.
Wichita State, 24 breaks even.
Leroy Watkins works very, very hard underneath both ends of the floor.
We've talked about his work off the basketball. Look at the block right here to keep it in play and initiate the transition the other way, and then going to work on the weak side glass. He says, you got no answer for that. If I catch it that deep, I'm going to score.
And how happy was Kevin Stallings when he found out he got this guy for an extra year, because that was in doubt. He picked up his bachelor of science degree in August, allowing him to have another year of eligibility.
That's just a great success story for him to be able to get his degree in time and gain his extra year of eligibility back.
Last touch by Mack on the miss, forced up by Tyrone Brown. Wichita State, from the three-pointer by Maurice Evans, has a lead of 3. It's hard to find seniors in this game, but there's one of them, Leroy Watkins. Both of these teams so very young. Wichita State leading Illinois State 34-31. Why? 17 of the 34 points for the Shockers from Maurice Evans. Illinois State with it. 3 would tie it. See if they can score if the inbounds play. 15 to shoot. As the shot clock carries over. Bryson against the freshman Steven. Shot it off his wrist, and Maurice Evans with the board. His 5th of the game. Evans working on a double-double. Perez off the glass. The Shockers have their biggest lead of the game.
When Wichita State can get this thing up-tempo, they have scored in their offense off a transition pretty easily against Illinois State.
36-31 Shockers. Riley fouled by Kurt Flowers. 3rd foul on Flowers. He and Perez both with 3 for Wichita State.
That's the high-low look that we talked about, Mitch. With Murdoch operating down on the box. Had great position. It was a good job to deliver the basketball in there. When you've got position down low, you've got to penetrate the basketball into the lane.
Bryson again, just 1 point. 18 under his average. Foul away from the ball. This is a hold. As Troy Mack is called for his 3rd foul. Correction, 4 fouls. 4 fouls on Mack, 3 on Williams, 3 on Perez, 3 on Flowers.
You get a little bit of an education trying to guard Leroy Watkins down low. The guy moves so well without the basketball.
Riley with the lob against Flowers. Watkins, his rest wasn't long. Good look for Brown, the JUCO transfer, and he buries his 3rd three-point field goal in Division I.
I think Leroy Watkins is such a great passer from the low post. Understands through experience when you get the double team, somebody is open.
2-point lead for Wichita State. They have the ball. 14:40 left in the game. Bumping foul on Sean Riley, and Riley has picked up his 4th foul. 4 fouls on Sean Riley of Illinois State.
That's what I'm talking about down low, how Watkins can spot up the shooter on the perimeter. If the ball goes in, the perimeter guys have got to continue to relocate, and Brown did a good job of getting into Watkins' vision.
You know, the other side of that, Debbie, is when they kick it inside out and go back inside, you're going to get a better opportunity inside than you had originally.
That's right.
Little inside, outside, inside. Holding foul. And that's going to be on Ryan Crowley of Illinois State, his 2nd. 6 fouls already called early. This game has been called very, very close. And that's carrying over now to the 2nd half. 36-34, Shockers by 2. Two physical, defensive-oriented teams. Evans trying to find a slicer underneath, and Maurice Evans with a 2. He has 19, and the Shockers lead by 4. Victor Williams. Bryson. Watkins. Nice spinning jumper, but it can't go down. And now the ball is just pulled away from him by Kurt Flowers of Wichita State.
It was a great rebound by Crowley. He just couldn't hang on to it.
Veskis. It's going to be an offensive foul on Perez. There's action underneath, and Perez is going to be called for his 4th foul.
Wichita State foul 33, Jason.
Maurice Evans outstanding at finding the proper angle.
Well, Evans knows he's got a little bit of a mismatch on him with Watkins guarding him on the perimeter. So what's he going to do? Take him hard to the baseline. Improve his angle and use the glass. Watkins doesn't want to commit that foul on Evans.
And he has that rare ability, too, to hang, Debbie. He can sit there in the air a long time. Shot missing. And traveling called on Evans of Wichita State. Illinois State wanted a foul call on the shot attempt by Tyrese Bryson.
When you're talking about hang time, Maurice Evans got up for that so high, lost his balance. Looks like he got poked in the eye. Came down with a basketball, and anytime you come down with a basketball, they're going to call traveling.
Look at this. Wichita State, 2 with 4. Mack and Perez. Williams has 3, while Sean Riley, the 7-footer for Illinois State, with 4. Timeout called by Illinois State to avoid a 5-count turnover, and that will get the ire of Kevin Stallings. Usually his team forces 5-count. But Randy Smithson has to be ecstatic with the way his team has responded. They were getting pounded early, Debbie. Came fighting back and have a 4-point lead in a building where they haven't won since 1991.
Well, you know, Randy Smithson yesterday in practice told us, you know, regardless of the outcome of this game, I'm going to find out where my club stands right now because we're going against one of the class teams and programs in the league. So my young guys, all 10 of them, are going to have to learn very quickly how tough it is to play on the road in this league. You know, they're 2-4. They're 2 games they won have been at home. They've played well on the road, and this is well enough to win. And they're playing well today and have a good shot at it. They just want to hang around and stick tight, is what he said. Try to be there at the end.
Well, they stick tight on defense there. Carl Lemons with the turnover on an inbounds play by Illinois State out of the timeout. Evans short on the 3. Veskis, the Dutchman. Flowers poked over to Lemons. Lemons at 27 to shoot, and the Shockers can go up by 6 or 7 here. $18 to shoot. Lemons finds a crease and a bucket. Lemons has 4. 40-34, Wichita State. Biggest Shocker lead of the game. We played 7 minutes in the second half.
Boy, Murdoch is wide open inside, and Williams doesn't see him.
Bryson sees the bucket. His first field goal of the game. Registered at 12:42 left in the game.
And Illinois State going to fall back in a little zone right here. Matchup 2-3. Change of pace.
But with Perez down with 4 fouls, really the Shockers just one real shooter on the floor now. That's the shooter. And the foul is going to be called on Veskis to Wichita State. Good block out by L.D. Murdoch of the Redbirds.
Great job by Kevin Stallings to change it up, to try to get Wichita State a little bit off balance offensively. Now you know Evans in the zone. You got to find him. But there you see Veskis coming over the back of Murdoch, trying to hit the offensive glass.
Murdoch averaging 6 rebounds a game. He's been in double figures in all 9 games prior to this one for Illinois State. Just 4 so far in this game. 40-36, Wichita State. Wichita State doubling off the screen. Deep 3 by Bryson. Count it.
There we go. Bryce is starting to get hot. Starting to feel it. We know that he can score a lot of points in a hurry.
He had 5 threes against Southern Miss and Wisconsin. He, much like Maurice Evans, a rhythm shooter, and there is Evans.
You know,
Evans with 22.
Mitch, you play the zone, and Kevin Stallings is going nuts over there on the sideline. You got to know where Evans is if you're going to play that D.
Murdoch strong to the hole. He gets a bucket and a foul. Drawn on Wichita State. L.D. Murdoch. Strong to the cup.
Well, you want to talk about a power finish right here. Watch Murdoch use the bounce to get to the hoop. And look at Riley shielding him off inside. That is a strong move right there. Watch Riley right here. He's the one that creates the open angle. The rotation too slow in getting there. Murdoch with the finish.
Benton was fouling his second personal. 17 fouls on Wichita State with 11:39 left in the game. And L.D. Murdoch, a 68% shooter, can pick up a 3-point play for the Redbirds. He does. The Redbirds are fighting back in their shack. A deep three by Tyrese Bryson, but the Shockers still lead by a whisker in normal. Again, our scoreboard brought to you by Monsanto, home of Roundup Ultra. 43-42. A three drained by Maurice Evans. He has 25 points.
Now, I guarantee you in that timeout, because Kevin Stallings stayed with that 2-3 zone, that he told his guys, you better not let Evans get another three off.
Underneath, Murdoch, contact and a foul on Evans. His third, and Murdoch will go to the line. Maurice Evans, Debbie, 7 3-point makes in this game for the Shockers.
Boy, the guy is on fire, and when you go to the zone, he's the only shooter right now on the floor that you got to be worried about. But Wichita State does such a great job of moving the basketball around the perimeter and getting him the ball in the gap in the zone where he can shoot the tray. Great job by Evans, and he always knows where his feet are on the floor. He always gets behind the arc.
It is a new career high for Maurice Evans, 7 3-point field goals in a single game. He had 6 earlier this year against Kansas State and 6 last year in a game. Against Southern Illinois, he has 7 threes in this game, but L.D. Murdoch comes back for Illinois State.
Well, you know, Mitch, we talk about Perez and Evans scoring more than half the points for Wichita State through the season. Right now, Evans has more than half the points for Wichita State.
Lemons with it. Vesky's up top. Evans, Shockers lead by 3.
See, in this 2-3 zone, you can gamble, you can get out and match up on the perimeter, because Wichita State has not established anything down low on the interior.
L.D. Murdoch called for the foul underneath, and again the strength of Wichita State showing up. That time the strength of Darren Williams to get an offensive rebound. Murdoch called for his 3rd foul.
Now here comes another shooter for Wichita State. Reg Smithson can knock down the three-pointer. You got to know where he is, as well as Evans.
Smithson. Lemons, Shockers with possession, up 3. A three-pointer nailed.
Just like we called it, Mitch. I mean, we know that the guy can shoot the tray. In Illinois State, it'll be interesting to see how long Kevin Stallings elects to stay in that zone now that they've got 2 shooters on the perimeter for Wichita State.
5 points for Reggie Smithson, his 4th 3-point make of the season in 10 attempts. A 6-point lead for Wichita State, tying their biggest lead. Murdoch, he can shoot the 3. Short, and Smithson pushing underneath. Reggie Smithson fouling for the 2nd time. Illinois State already in the first bonus. That's actually the 9th team foul, but the coach's son helps his dad out.
Look at the great screen right there down low. Everybody in the country runs this out-of-bounds play from underneath their own basket. And Smithson does a great job of getting spotted up behind the line. That guy has got to be pleased with the effort his young group is giving here on the road. And it's one of the toughest places in the Valley to play on the road.
And particularly after having their nose bloodied early in this game, trailing 23-8 on the canvas, taking the standing 8 count, and then fighting back. Crowley hits both free throws. Illinois State has not free-throwed well in this game, and they trail by 4.
And with making the free throws, now they can get into full court pressure.
Again, Illinois State very adept at switching defenses. We talked with Kevin Stallings today at practice. He said he has, what, about 1/20th of his package in? Maurice Evans off press break. Maurice Evans with 28 points. Illinois State still can't find him. 28.
It's not like Kevin Stallings hasn't told him. I mean, sometimes you step between the lines and you just lose it. Lose it defensively, your assignments. You just got to find the guy.
Bryson. Again, the chase. Cartmill. Missing the 3 deep. 7-point lead. Wichita State. Bryson with the follow. And Bryson has 8 points. And the Birds are within 5. 9:24 left in the game. Wichita State 52. Illinois State 47.
You know, I think Kevin Stallings is going to go back to the man-to-man defense right now. You know, you show the zone a few possessions. You don't necessarily get what you wanted out of it because you don't guard Maurice Evans. So now you got to go back. You still have got to guard the guy. And Ryan Crowley will draw that assignment right now.
Illinois State back to straight man. Reggie Smithson. 5-point Shocker lead with possession, 20 to shoot for the Gold and Black. Knocked away by Murdoch.
See, that's where Bart Vesky's, only being a freshman, has got to know when the ball goes inside and you're going against a big guy that you're going to have trouble scoring against like Murdoch, look on the perimeter. Look for Evans. He's the go-to guy. He's hot. Get him the basketball.
His career high, Evans, 30 against Rutgers, but he's threatening that tonight. One-on-one. Williams, offensive foul. He was hooking against Leroy Watkins, and that's 4 fouls on Darren Williams.
You know, I've talked about through this game how Wichita State needs to use their interior guys, and there you see the hook right there. Evans uses his elbow to hook around behind Watkins and try to create some space. Watch this angle right here. There's the arm right there, you see. He uses it to try to shield off Watkins to get a better angle to the goal.
The offensive foul committed with possession of the ball, meaning no free throws for Illinois State. And I like the strength of Leroy Watkins. Coaches always talk about players getting their tails down, their rear ends down. Leroy Watkins rarely plays this game standing straight up.
I don't know of a sport you do play standing up. You've got to have a good, solid base and have balance at both ends of the floor.
Man-to-man by Wichita State. The Shockers surprising Illinois State here, leading by 5. Bryson, nice little shake and bake over Lemon. And another rebound for Evans. As Evans, 28 points, 7 rebounds. He's 8 of 13 from three-point range. Just wants it one-on-one. Block, nope, a foul. Evans, who's not been to the free throw line yet in the game, will get a couple here.
You know, that's a criticism when there's not much that you want to give Evans at the offensive end of the floor. It's his ability to penetrate to the lane and get fouled and get to the line. Now, he can shoot them when he gets there. 96.6%. Unbelievable. He's only missed 1 free throw all season.
He's 28 of 29 at the line this season. 7 of 7 against Pepperdine, 7 of 7 against Florida Atlantic, and 1 of 1 against Illinois State. He's one off his career high. Plus, his 8 three-point makes in the game in 13 attempts ties a Redbird Arena and also sets a Wichita State record. Several players with 6, including Maurice Evans. But so far, Evans with 8 in this game.
He's got a ritual, that's for sure, at the free throw line. He takes his time, dialing in.
And misses the free throw, only his 2nd miss of the season. Wichita State leads by 6, 53-47. 8:12 left in the game. But I think we can say that he's one of the best sophomores in the country.
I don't think there's any question. I mean, the guy can score from all over the floor.
And he's doing more than score.
He can guard. He's blocked shots. He's active off the basketball. Weak side defense. He's involved.
Troy Mack is fouling. I believe he's disqualified. That's his 5th foul, and he's whistled out at 8:02 left in the game. Let's take a look at the hack by Mack.
Mack is a freshman. He's got to learn. He's got to use his body right there. It's either going to be Mack right here or Evans. And if you're Randy Smithson, you want that foul called on Mack, not on Evans.
So Mack, who is a sophomore, much like Tyrese Price of Illinois State, had to set out last year to get academically eligible. A sophomore in eligibility, but his first year of playing at a Northwest High School into Northwestern High School out of Detroit.
But you know, you can see in practice that Randy Smithson's got these guys' attention. I mean, he talks about mental toughness, and when he speaks, he's definitely in control in practice. Everybody's got eye contact. And a guy like Mack, you watch him, he is definitely listening to what Randy Smithson is telling him. He's buying into how to play Wichita State basketball.
Watkins splits a pair at the line. He has 9. The Shocker lead is now 5. You know, I've talked numerous times about the toughness of Illinois State and its programs. And its program the last couple of years with all those seniors in particular, guys like Dan Muller and Smiley and others. But this Wichita State team is showing its personification of toughness in this game.
Especially when they're so young. I mean, there are 4 freshmen on the floor right now for Wichita State.
Again, the Shockers looking for somebody to score out of this group. Lemons did it the last time. A brick there. The Redbirds, Victor Williams, and a reach-in foul on Lemons. That's just the first foul on Lemons, but Victor Williams, a 71% shooter, is going to get 2 shots because the Redbirds are the double bonus.
See, now, I would not call this a good foul right here. Watch right here how Victor Williams gets the ball and starts taking it up the floor. And Lemons just gets caught in traffic right here, reaching for the basketball. I think he fouled him there, right there, when he reached in. No need to do that. You got to move your feet to stop transition.
Victor Williams hits the free throw.
And Maurice Evans took all of about a 30-second rest. Hey, you know, when you're shooting it like he is, he doesn't want to sit over there either. He's saying, hey, coach, get me back in the game.
Setting with 29 points and on his way maybe to 40 or 7:35 left in the game. 53-49. Wichita State with the lead. Williams hits both free throws. Maurice Evans, take a look, a long look at the 8th leading scorer in America and one of the nation's best sophomores. His team up 3. 29 Maurice Evans points has Wichita State a 53-50. The backcourt right now helping the Shockers.
We knew coming into this game that Maurice Evans and Jason Perez could score. Now, Perez has only scored 3 points today. It's been the Maurice Evans show in Redbird Arena. Illinois State's backcourt 11 points, and credit Kyle Cartmill off the bench for 10 of those.
Including 2 threes, but all of those in the first half, Debbie. Cartmill yet to score in the second 20 minutes. 7:20 left in the game. Illinois State picking up the defensive pressure, and Sean Jepson in the lineup for the first time tonight for Illinois State, guarding Perez right now. Jepson, a freshman from Spring Valley, Illinois. And Maurice Evans gets one-on-one and gets a bucket. A new career high for Mo Evans, 31 points.
I tell you what, that's a tough shot, too. That was very good defense on Evans.
5-point Shocker lead. Inside of 7 minutes left. A 3 from the corner, short from Victor Williams. And the Shockers now have a chance to go up 7 or 8.
I'd say Illinois State has their small lineup on the floor for defensive purposes, like right there, Williams. Riley's on the floor, but the rest of the guys are guards.
He can poke it loose. He had 7 steals in a game earlier this season that tied a school record. He's just a freshman.
You know, when you put Jepson and Hine in the lineup for Illinois State, it's almost like Kevin Stallings is challenging his guys. Who wants to play defense?
Evans, pull up. Short. Perez underneath with a follow. Jason Perez with a tough stick back for the Shockers. Wichita State up by 5. 6 minutes left in the game. As the Shockers setting on a huge upset here in Normal, Illinois. A season high as well in the conference as a total for Maurice Evans with 31 points, as well as his career high. Give and go, Hine, the left-hander with range. Good tip out by Jepson. And now a throwaway by Cartmill. Riley was trying to get open underneath. Great play by Jepson to keep the possession, but a turnover.
Well, Cartmill had the right idea.
It's like trying to catch a pass from Randy Johnson here. Look at this thing.
Well, Riley right here, he's trying to back into like he's waiting for the contact. And when the contact's not there, you'd get off balance. Couldn't handle it. The angle wasn't that great either.
5.5 left. Shockers up 5 with possession. Perez, a quiet 5, a 3. Not there. Watkins, nice board. Birds will push. A 3 from the rookie Jepson. Sean Jepson, a freshman. 4th last year in voting for Mr. Basketball Illinois. Gives a big-time 3 to Illinois State. How about this kid doesn't play the whole game, comes in and drains a 3.
Gets this crowd back in, and this is a crucial offensive possession for Wichita State.
A brick thrown up by Maurice Evans. Lemons on a board. Sean Riley tied up. And tied up by Bart Veskis. And this should go to Wichita State because the defense initiated it.
That's exactly right. Riley had possession of the basketball off the offensive or the defensive glass. What a big three-point bucket, the biggest bucket in this young guy's career. Drains it from three-point land to cut the lead to 2 points inside the 5-minute mark.
22nd timeout called by Wichita State. Sean Jepson, his third three-point field goal in his young Division I career. And a reminder, with all this excitement, the place you can get excitement and a great place to stay is Drury Inn, my favorite spot. Call 1-800-DRURY INN. All over Missouri Valley Conference country, Drury Inn is the official hotel of the Missouri Valley Conference. Sean Jepson, a bit of a legend in high school in Illinois. Frankie Williams went to Illinois, great player out of Peoria. He was the Mr. Basketball Illinois. But Corey Maggetti's now at Duke, Q Richardson at DePaul, and Jepson was fourth in that voting for Mr. Basketball in the state. Veskies in trouble. 3-second violation on Wichita State. It was on Maurice Evans. I don't think Mo thought so, nor did Randy Smithson. Kind of a facetious laugh.
Kind of throws his hands up like, well, I guess we're going to call something there. There were a lot of bodies in the paint.
Our initial Missouri Valley Conference game of the week, a good one. Wichita State with the steal, up 2. Perez, Riley has 4 fouls, but changed the shot.
Wow, what an aggressive play by Riley.
Evans cranks it for 3 and missed it. Cartmill fouled him. It'll be 3 free throws for Maurice Evans.
Is he having fun out there or what? This guy is unbelievable today.
The engine is turned on and revving for Maurice Evans.
Evans is going to come off the screen by Veskies, who actually wasn't even screening. He was just in the way. But just enough of a decoy to create a little space. Now, Maurice Evans doesn't need a lot of room to get that shot off either.
29-31 at the line for the game. A career-high 31 points tonight.
You know, Mitch, I said at the beginning of the second half that Illinois State needed to turn him into a dribbler. They have allowed him to come off screens, to pop off the baseline, to catch and score. They've got to get in tight and make him put the ball on the floor. We know he can shoot the jumper. We've seen it all night.
Missed his second, hit his first. He'll get another one. He was fouled beyond the arch by Cartmill. 5 team fouls on Illinois State, which could be an issue if Wichita State starts to run clock. Evans missing 2 out of the 3. Came in at 97%. 3-point lead, Wichita State. Watkins makes it a 1-point lead.
Go to your bread and butter. Get Leroy Watkins the basketball right now at this juncture in the game.
Lots of time left, just under 4 minutes. Wichita State, 1-point lead in the ball. Man-to-man by Illinois State. Cartmill hanging all over Maurice Evans.
Make him put it on the floor.
Give and go. Lemons for 3. Not there. Guess who got it for Wichita State, and guess who's going to the line? Let's see if this foul is on Riley. If it is, he's disqualified. It is. Sean Riley is fouled out of the game, the 7-footer, and he is gone with 3:37 left. Wichita State lost Troy Mack 5 minutes ago to disqualification.
When you offensive rebound like this, it's all about instinct. Watch Maurice Evans come into your picture right here. Watch him go up, use his body to shield the ball from in the rim, and Riley picks up the foul. Now Maurice Evans is getting to the free throw line. Now this young sophomore, these are in the clutch. He's got to be able to knock these down.
32 points. 8 rebounds, but just 2 of 5 at the line, 8 of 14 on 3s. .33 for Evans.
Now you got to believe Illinois State is going down inside, getting Watkins to the sweet spot and try to get him the basketball where he can score. You got to go to what you know at the offensive end, and that is consistency on the box.
Played at Collegiate High School. Small private school in the Air Capital. Second one missing. Jepson for Cartmill. Speed dribble. Foul on Wichita State. .59-57 Shockers by 2. 3:30 left. And a chance for Cartmill to tie it after he was walloped underneath the basket.
You know, we've seen a lot of fouling in this game, but this is a good foul right here, not to let Cartmill get the easy two, but to make him earn it. That's when you want to pound a guy, when they're going to the rim hard like that.
Cartmill has yet to score in the second half until now. 11 for Cartmill. He now ties for the team high lead with Leroy Watkins. Game is tied. Kyle Cartmill ties the game with his 12th point with 3:30 left. Kevin Stallings' team at home has tied the game at 59. Don't go away. Wichita State and Illinois State tied in an early conference December game in Normal, Illinois. 33 points for Maurice Evans, but Illinois State's had some recent heroes.
Well, I think Kevin Stallings getting to his bench, getting a guy like Joe Hine, who only played a minute in the first half, and then Sean Jepson playing some clutch minutes, getting Illinois State back in the thick of things to tie the game up.
Lemons, Perez, Flowers, Evans, Williams for Wichita State. Bryson, Cartmill, Murdoch, Watkins, Crowley, good look inside and a dunk. Darren Williams, they were doubling on the ball, Debbie, and found Williams for the dunk.
Well, what Randy Smithson does is runs Perez and Maurice Evans to the same side of the ball, the basketball, same side of the floor.
2-point lead, Wichita State. 3 minutes left in the game. Nice give and go. Crowley prevented from shooting. Steal by Perez. Bounce pass. Evans stripped by Kyle Cartmill. What a defensive play by the senior for the Redbirds. His second strip of the game to prevent a layup and a 20-second timeout called by Illinois State.
Well, Kevin Stallings wants to make sure that they get the shot at the offensive end of the floor that they want right here in the basketball game. You know, coaches are always thinking 2-3 possessions ahead.
One thing Illinois State has not done a good job of is defending Maurice Evans, who has 33 points. But that was not the case with Kyle Cartmill stripping the ball from Evans, preventing a Wichita State layup.
That's just all-out hustle, because Perez did a great job of feeding Evans the basketball in transition. Evans right here gets the pass from Perez, and look at Cartmill with a strip, all ball. Great defensive play, and then Illinois State is off pushing the ball the other way. Now I'm looking for Leroy Watkins right here to be the guy to go to.
61-59 Wichita State. 2:42 left in the game. Keep in mind, both teams in some foul trouble. Watkins underneath gets pushed. Flowers pushed in. That's the fourth on Flowers.
If I'm Kevin Stallings, that's who I want to have the basketball at this juncture in the game. And that's the play he calls for. Great spacing and a good job of spreading out the Wichita defense. Cartmill with a great bounce pass, but it's Watkins' work off the basketball, fighting for position against Flowers, that gets him open.
I beg your pardon. Flowers fouls out, the second shocker to go to the pine. Mack fouled out. Now Kurt Flowers as Kevin Stallings' team, trailing by 2. But as Leroy Watkins going to the line, Kurt Flowers, an in-state kid from Alexis, Illinois. So we have Illinoisians playing for Wichita State and Kansans playing for Illinois State. Let's stick right here at the quick Twiney timeout called by, or a full timeout called by Randy Smithson and Wichita State. Shockers with one full timeout left, Redbirds with 2, and it's time now to announce our player of the game. As Maurice Evans, 33 points, 8 rebounds, and a little of everything.
He's had some block shots, he's had some steals, he's done it at both ends. He's been exciting to watch at the offensive end, and he's been draining the three-pointers.
Our champion, Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week player, Reggie Redbird. They're going to host a women's regional tournament here later this season in the Midwest Regional. The Shocker huddle, Donnie Parr, assistant coach, Terry Hankton, the former Shocker point guard, one of my favorite players in recent Valley history, now helping out Along with Carlos Diggins and Fred Andrews on that Randy Smithson Shocker staff. There's a look at the women's Midwest Regional. It'll be held here at Redbird Arena.
Well, that ought to be exciting, and what a great opportunity for Illinois State to showcase what a first-class organization they have here and what a beautiful arena this is.
Watkins to the line. He can tie the game for the Birds. 11 points, 1 of 3 at the line. Watkins will get another one out of Chicago as senior. Sean Jepson, a hero for this team, hitting a 3 when they needed it, setting down now.
And I'm sure Illinois State talked about changing up the D right here, depending on what Watkins does with this free throw.
Third tie of the game. Leroy Watkins draining both free throws. This game tied at 61.
And Watkins is going to pick up that foul, and that's going to really be a bad foul for him to pick up that far away from the basket.
32, Leroy Watkins, his first.
It is only, no, it's going to put Wichita State in the 1-and-1. Jepson's going to come right back in. First foul on Watkins, if I'm not mistaken, and it's going to put Bart Vesky's at the line to shoot 1 plus the penalty. He's 0 for 1 in this game at the line, Debbie. 2 for 8 for the season.
You know, I'm thinking Kevin Stallings may have wanted Watkins to commit that foul so they could get Wichita State to the bonus and get him to the line.
You know what? You're right. And Wichita State just with the turns it over, traveling on the offensive rebound try.
And see, with Watkins only having 1 foul, that's the guy you want to put to the line. Vesky's. Smart tactic by Kevin Stallings and his coaching staff.
Absolutely. Now, Illinois State gets fouled. Watkins fouled by Vesky's underneath. And Watkins will get 2 shots.
Mitch, it's not brain surgery for Illinois State. All it is getting it to the guy that you know through experience can score when you need points, and you need them now. The last time Illinois State tried the full court pressure against Wichita State, it ended up in a Maurice Evans 3-pointer. So they're going to fall back into that quarter court D, get into that man-to-man.
Watkins had hit 3 in a row until that attempt. Jepson out. Crowley comes in as Kevin Stallings playing a little offense-defense, 2-platoon basketball here. 2:17 left in the game. The game tied at 61. Shockers at the line, 80% in the second half. Watkins gives Illinois State its first lead since 3:58 left in the first half. The Birds lead by 1 at 2:12 left in the game.
Well, Wichita State can't panic here at the offensive. Look at the clear out for Maurice Evans.
Vesky has it knocked away. Cartmill, his 3rd steal of the game.
Now they're going to the right side of the floor where Watkins is going to be on the block.
1:45 left. 17 to shoot. The Birds with a 1-point lead. A 3 attempt, Murdoch, an air ball. Crowley missing the follow. Vesky rips it away.
Murdoch was so wide open, just short-armed it.
62-61 Birds. Perez in trouble. Lemons open jumper. Cartmill with the rebound, and the senior coming up big here late for Illinois State.
Boy, Wichita State had a good look. From 15, you got to knock those down. But look at the patience right here, the maturity of Cartmill.
62-61 Birds. 65 seconds left. 18 to shoot. A giant possession here for the red and white. Cartmill one-on-one attacks Evans. Blocking foul on Wichita State. It's going to go against Darren Williams. And that's the 5th foul on Williams. The 3rd Wichita State player to foul out of the game. Exits with 53.3 seconds left. As now Troy Mack, Darren Williams, and Kurt Flowers have all fouled out for the Shockers.
And here's the thing Wichita State's Randy Smithson is thinking about. Now, regardless of what Cartmill does at the free throw line, because they're up by 1. If he makes them both, it's still a 1-possession game, but there's plenty of time on the clock that you don't need a 3, but you got to get a good look. Something penetrating to the basket.
And Cartmill here will get 2 shots. He's 4 of 4 at the line for the game. In fact, Illinois State has really warmed up at the line in the second half. 12 of 15 and 8 of the last 9 and 21 of 34 for the game. Illinois State will get to the line a bunch as Cartmill gives Illinois State a 2-point lead.
You know, they didn't make them in the first half, but they're making them in crunch time.
They shot 34 against Akron, hit 29. Shot 30 against Southern Mississippi, hit 27. Shot 40 against Iona and hit 30.
And watch Ryan Crowley get in Maurice Evans' face right here.
64-61, Illinois State by 3. 53.3 seconds left in the game. Evans wanted the ball and couldn't get it. And they foul Veskist again. Exactly what Kevin Stallings wanted to do.
Not a bad decision at all. 3-point game. You want to put this guy to the line, a freshman. He hasn't proven he can make them at the line. And Watkins, who stayed out of foul trouble this entire game, is the guy that can give the fouls.
Veskist 2 for 9 for the season at the line, and Jepson comes back in as an offensive substitution for Crowley. Veskist 7 points, but no free throws, and he misses another one. Excellent strategy by Kevin Stallings twice to foul off the ball Bart Veskist. And now a 3-point lead for Illinois State and possession with 13-second differential shot clock game clock.
Well, Wichita State does not want to foul here. They want to D up. They got to lock them up right here. Get possession of the ball back.
3-point lead. Illinois State 10 to shoot. Bryson nearly loses it. It's out of bounds, and Illinois State will keep it. Illinois State 22-5 in bench scoring is Randy Smithson's team. Only 5 points off his bench. 7 to shoot, 20 seconds on the game clock. Illinois State with the ball up 3.
Cannot afford to foul.
Cartmill with it against Maurice Evans. Cartmill will try to put it away. He scoops it in. Cartmill is 16.
Now you got to have the tray.
Deep 3, Evans. No. 5 seconds left in the game. It's out of bounds to Illinois State, and the Redbirds are going to survive a tremendous run by Maurice Evans and the Wichita State Shockers. And Debbie, it goes back to Kevin Stallings fouling Bart Veskist twice in the open floor, and Veskist missing 2 free throws.
You know, when the foul occurs so far away from the basketball, it was so awkward. That's why I said, why does Watkins want to foul there? But then it was the strategy. There's some thinking going on over there on the bench by Kevin Stallings and his staff. You know, you're not around great basketball minds like Gene Cady, Roy Williams, and those caliber of people without being in every situation that you can be in on the floor. But credit Randy Smithson's team as well. I mean, they fought hard, trailing 23 to 8 to take the lead the entire second half until the last minute.
Illinois State up 7. Evans to pad the stats, not there, and the Redbirds have survived a tremendous effort by Maurice Evans and the Wichita State Shockers, as Illinois State has now won 11 of 12 in the series. Maurice Evans with 33, but it's not enough. Illinois State with great strategy ends the game in a flurry and wins by 7.